Aha! Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me? Aha! Hi, Paulette. I forgot to add my laptop to the stream, so no, there was no sound. I just started saying that I needed to find myself a little bit of peace right now, and I imagine that there might be some people in our community that might be feeling kind of similar to what I am right about now. So I thought I'd just jump on and do some live streaming of the cross stitch since I now have my boom arm that can hold my camera behind my head so you guys can actually see me stitching. Um, Although it's funny because it is in reverse. Um, so that kind of trips me out a little bit. Um, I don't think I can. I don't know. I'll have to play with that and see if there's a way to. Because if I turn my phone to so that the back of the phone is facing me, so the camera is facing me, then I can't activate my camera because there's a bar right down the center of the piece that holds it. So then I can't push any buttons on my screen. So I don't think there's any other way to like reverse the camera, but I don't know. Paulette, can you remind me? Were you the other crochet person in in my chat the last time? Okay. Um, the funny thing was when I was talking about that, the book with the monsters. Oh man, so the kids are sick after all, huh? The book with the monsters where you can turn and flip the pages and create your own monster. I was sitting there looking for it during that last live and I couldn't find it. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like right in front of my face. Um, so now if I can find it again, because I started cleaning my craft room and trying to get some semblance of organization going in here. I got to figure out which pile I put the book in. It's not that one. Not that pile. Where did I put it? Grr, because I was gonna show you the book, and now where the heck did I put it? That's all my coffee stained. Oh, haha. I put it on the bookshelf. Go figure. Hi, Stephanie. So I'll move my cross stitch out of the way for a second. Ooh. Yeah, Stephanie was saying I got to figure out how to get my camera to go into the stand, but be able to reverse my camera. Otherwise, you're watching everything backwards. It's kind of bizarre. Um, so this is the. Got to figure out get in front of the camera. So this is the monster book. It's called Edward's Crochet Imaginarium. So when you open it up, this is all your different head patterns. And then you've got the torso and the arms. and then down here is the feet. And so you just kind of go through and you pick out, so I want this head. I want, whoops, I almost doxed a business just then. I want those arms and I want these feet. So that's what your monster will look like when he's done. But when you flip it, your instructions are on the opposite side of the page. So it tells you start to finish how to do the head, how to connect the head to the neck, crocheting the arms and the torso, and then how to connect the legs, sew the legs and the feet. So it's really kind of cool because you can do, like I said, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of different combinations of the monsters. I don't know if I can get close enough on that one. This little guy right here in the corner. He's so funny. And I have this one that does the monsters, and then I have one that is people. So you can do different hairstyles, you can do different facial. So on the head part, it's different hair. I think the eye, like the eyes, nose, and mouth is all the same stitching, if I remember correctly. But you do the different hair. And then the torso, some of it you can do like a basic doll, like a naked doll. And there's a second book you can buy to make clothes for them. But there's also parts in there where the torso is a stitched shirt as part of the doll itself. And then again, when you go down and you pick out the legs, you're picking out the pants color or the skirt or, whatever you want the bottoms to look like. So yeah, I mean, for those crocheters who just kind of like want something strange and, never the same two things twice unless you want them to be, is just a fun little book. And what we always did, what Sis and I always did, is we would just open up the book and just randomly pick a head, randomly pick a middle, randomly pick a leg, and then just go. So instead of overthinking it and going, oh, well, I don't like how that looks with that, and I don't like, we would just randomly pick some. So it was always kind of fun. Oh, good idea, Sis, using a number generator to figure out which one to do. I don't remember, Stephanie. Do you crochet? I have my whole tote up above my what used to be my yarn storage, that has mine in it that I made before. But if we do the makers market for our fair next year, I'll just add those into the things we're selling, since I don't crochet anymore. Yeah, Paulette, it's really cool. But I mean, if you like doing things with arms, legs, and faces and stuff, they're really cool books because, like I said, the options are limitless on how many you can, how many different combinations. Oh yeah. When I decided that I was going to do the cross stitch on some live streams, the first one didn't go quite so well. Because I have a program that I use for my PDF cross stitch patterns. And the first one I did, the pattern was so small, I didn't want to deal with trying to figure out how to import it and adjust it and all this other stuff. So I'm like, I'll just do it on paper. Well, I just did a straight photocopy of the pattern. I could not read it for beans. So I discovered that my eyes are a lot worse than what I thought they were. And yeah, I'm pretty blind. Yeah, and that's a good point, Sis. That was probably why I never really did anything with the people one, because I mean, they're recognizable. When you look at a human being, a stuffed animal, a stuffed doll, you know the arms are supposed to be in a certain place. You know the legs are supposed to be in a certain place. You know the ears are supposed to be even, you know. But when you're making monsters, if one's higher than the other, who cares? It's a monster. If you accidentally put one ear on backwards, who cares? It's a monster. I said when I let go of all of my yarn, I couldn't convince myself to let go of my all my books and my patterns just yet. Because I can get a wild hair and decide to make a project, and then I probably wouldn't crochet for another 6 months. But and the other cool thing about the monsters too is they're really good yarn busters because you can just make like the body is in crazy stripes and use up all those little tiny balls of yarn that you have left from previous projects. Yeah, it does give you stuff to do when you come here, but you know, then you have to bring the supplies that I no longer have, or just keep them in the trunk of your car. So, did Miss E get worse after the rodeo? Oh, so Paulette, you probably have some great grandkids then, huh? Wow, 102. I mean, she felt clammy that at the rodeo, but we were all sweaty and gross because it was hot and muggy. Um, but then taking into account the fact that she kept saying she was cold, even though she didn't feel feverish, the fact that we were all sweating and she was complaining she was cold. I'm glad we didn't bring them home with us. You know how much your mama loves to be sick. So how are you and the hubs feeling then? Are you guys getting did you already have it, or well, that's good. Kids are pretty resilient too. Did you get the family text last night? Oldest granddaughter is 30, but no kids yet. One that is married is 27, say maybe in a couple years. Oh, hopefully. Grandbabies are great. I couldn't imagine. I got a long, 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 long way to go before I have to worry about greats. So my grandgirls are only 7 and 4, so I got a long way to go. Good. Well, try to keep your vitamins up and fluids. Obviously, I'm one to talk, right? Um, so hopefully you guys don't get knocked down too. I sure don't feel young, but I appreciate that. Yes, about the brother that came out at 2 o'clock this morning. Okay. Just wanted to make sure you got it because I know your phone's being a little stupid, especially with Facebook Messenger. And you just chalk up yet another family thing that there's no history of. But I just said, well, I can almost guarantee you the ER doctor is going to tell him he needs to start drinking less caffeine now. She's like, yep, he just got that message. Like, yep. Yeah, Paula, I just got as I was headed to bed last night, I got a call or a text from my daughter-in-law letting me know that my son was at the emergency room. Turns out he had a pretty massive kidney stone. And so it's a first for all of my kids and of all of them, as far as I know. So it's like, that's, and it's my child that has like the super, super, super high pain tolerance. Um, and he checked into the ER with what he said was a 6. And while he was waiting for the doctor to get there, it was up to an 8. So yeah, they're going to bring him in some morphine. I said, oh, he's going to like that. He's going to feel so much better. And then they gave him some of the morphine, and then they came back like 10 minutes later, asked him how he was doing, and he was still hurting. So they gave him a second pain medication on top of it. And I'm like, dang, okay, his tolerance is even higher than mine. Oh, I didn't realize you'd had kidney stones too, sis. All the more reason for you to be better than me at drinking water. Although I'm not super convinced there's not, a stone or two rolling around in my right kidney either. Considering if I go too long without drinking water, my back starts hurting. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I'm like, I've never had one, but I've been with people who were experiencing the pain, so I kind of have secondhand knowledge of it. It looks very similar to childbirth, having to pass those, which I know, and if it compares at all to a gallstone, then I definitely know what that feels like. 80 ounces a day. If I drink that in a month, my doctor would be happy. Oh, Mustang Sally. Not only is it a good song, but it's a good car. Well, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you're finding some stuff that you're enjoying. Today I'm just kind of playing with my new toy. I just got my the boom arm yesterday in the mail, so I'm able to actually cross stitch live now. Thank goodness, which was my intention for buying one. Um, just kind of have some chit chats. Is there a meaning behind your name, Mustang Sally? That was why I started the channel. Place to step away from all of the craziness. Hubby's card. I love the song. Okay, yeah, that was the first two things that came to my mind when I saw the name. I always wanted a pony. Well, both the four-wheeled and the four-legged kind, but I got a beetle instead. Well, yeah, especially if, you've got the nice big old, big block in it to get the full 8 cylinders, and you get the rumble and you get the sound and you get the full Mustang experience. I didn't say Sonia wasn't awesome. She's just not a Mustang. She could almost fit in the trunk of a Mustang, but she's not a Mustang. Although I will say she might be the only Beetle I know that can get a speeding ticket going uphill. Vet. Yeah, I wanted the vet when I was growing up, but um, I like the old style. I don't like the Stingray version, that body type. I like the old, 60s versions of the vets. Um, and I really, it's kind of an oxymoron, I think, or is that even? I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I, the only style I like is convertible, but I don't like riding in convertibles. I guess that's similar to me loving to buy shoes and hating to wear them, right? The Beetle is baby blue, and she's a 1971. I'm going to guess that since I'm getting a lag on my Wi Fi, that your dad has come in from outside fixing sprinklers and is probably on the PlayStation. It's like I'm in slow motion. Yeah, I think at this point, it's just making sure that, our garage floor doesn't float away or something. Scissors. Although I'm waiting for the inevitable walk in the door. What do you want for dinner? Even though we had a late breakfast and I know I'm still full. So, do you do any crafts, Sally? I don't know what to call you. Ouch! Stabbed myself with a needle again. I still have to figure out too. Oh, it's not backwards. What am I thinking? Ignore me. Um, what I'm going to call my other days. So I'll do my cross stitching on Thursdays, and it'd be thready Thursday. But what am I going to call my days where I do journaling, journal making? And what am I going to call my days that I'm doing my diamond painting? If I can get, I'm not sure if my easel will fit on my craft table. I have to test it out first. But if it does, what day am I going to do that? And what am I going to call that? Trying to figure out, trying to get a schedule set up for myself. Um, and that's not to say that I won't do random ones like this where, there's nobody else online, or it's been a high tense day and, I just kind of need to chill out a little bit. I might just, do some randoms in there, but I'm going to try to do some scheduling so that way, you know, people that like the channel but only like certain parts of it can just kind of, come in on the days that pertain to them. Making wreaths, like in the traditional sense with wire and greenery and stuff. Oof. I just bonked my head on my phone. Where am I at? There we go. I said mixed in with all the crafty stuff. There'll be days where, I'll be talking about medical conditions, not only my own, but people that I know in real life, as well as people that I've met online. Um, and then also days where we'll be talking about mental health stuff, which again is, my personal stuff, my personal connections, as well as online connections. Um, but also want to try to get those onto a schedule as well. That way I can set up panelists and, have time to research and um, that kind of stuff rather than doing those spur of the moment. I would absolutely love for people to share their crafts and hobbies too. I know not a lot of people are super comfortable sharing a lot about themselves um, on the big World Wide Web. Oops, didn't realize that one was done. Feather wreaths. I'm assuming that a feather wreath is exactly how it sounds. Well, definitely, if you're making wreaths out of real flower, or I mean, out of real feathers, I'm sure you got plenty. Well, that's kind of cool. Well, see, there you go, sis. Another idea. Well, you haven't done dream catchers in a long time. Have you even done a dream catcher since Minnie was born? Oh, bummer. Oh, duh, because you didn't have the birds when Minnie was born. Doy. God, I did a video yesterday morning just going over the diagnostic criteria for ADHD and bipolar. That thing did not finally upload completely to YouTube until like 6:30 this morning. I'm not sure. I don't know. I usually just cross stitch until I start losing ow, stab myself again. Um until I can no longer like do this without stabbing, without not stabbing myself. Cuz my hands are tingly and numb, or my head starts hurting or whatever, or my back, depends on what starts hurting first, I guess. But yeah, I mean, exactly. If we're not still online when you get back from meeting up with your sister, you know, you can always catch it up on replay. Um, and like I said, I when I'm not filming live, fudge nuggets. I just stabbed the other hand. Oh, and that one went deep. Um, right under the nail. Um, when I'm not doing live feeds for the cross stitch, there I have a playlist going that shows my progress on the cross stitch in on a time lapse. So yeah, if we're not still here, you have yourself enjoy the rest of your weekend and drive safe. Don't go getting no speeding tickets or nothing. Yeah, but you're not cross stitching. Yeah, I think most of the people, most of my what few subscribers I have, most of them are kind of the replay gang. For the most part, um, I mean that's part of the reason why I am hesitant to go live a lot of times because I don't want to schedule a live and then sit here and talk to myself. Um, whereas if I just do what I'm going to do and do it and just film it and upload it, people can comment, watch it on their own time and comment if they choose to. Um, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's a new channel, so I'm not going to, don't have a lot of play time, and there's always things going on. I've got 52, I think. Something like that, 51 or 52. But I've been bouncing between 50 and 54 for like 2 weeks. It's like I gain one, I lose one. I gain one, I lose two. I gain three, I lose two. It's like, okay, I'm kind of stuck. I'm stuck. But at the same time, I know that, drama doesn't necessarily sell, for lack of a better word. Um, I know that there's some hate channels that have been started even after mine, and they're already you know, over 400 subs because they're running a hate channel, and that's pretty sad. That people would rather subscribe to a new channel that's nothing about bashing other human beings and taking advantage of somebody in a vulnerable position than to subscribe to a channel where that's not happening. But if I let stuff like that shake my faith in humanity, where would I be? I know there's at least 52 people that like to be able to get away from the drama. Or, well, I'm sure there's a few. I know, well, I'm almost positive there's some of those subscribers are only subscribed to see whether or not I stick to my guns. But I wish YouTube would let me see who my subscribers are. That would be cool. Exactly. Better to have a few good ones than a lot of meanies. I agree. I agree. Well, I feel that way in real life too. I'm not 14. I don't need 300 people that are stab me in the back at a moment's notice. I just need one or two really good people. And then some trustworthy, acquaintances and, whatever, but I definitely don't need to surround myself with people who are non-trustworthy just so that I can say I have X number of friends. I outgrew that developmental stage a long time ago. Yeah, my circle of ride or dies is one. if you don't count your father or my children. And you'll definitely have to keep me posted as the week goes on too, to so we can start making the plan as to whether or not we're taking the girls this weekend. Well, Paulette, I kind of like, I'm like, I've reached a point in my life where, if you don't like me, I don't care. I don't need people to like me. And if you're in my life, you're in my life because you choose to be. So don't complain about who I am as a person. If you don't like me, then leave. Yeah, and I would imagine you probably feel that way for the same way I do. You've been around long enough to be burned enough, that you've learned the value of a true friend, you know, and it's more important to have those, have that ride or die person than a bunch of superficial relationships that, are one sided, or they're never around when you need them, or, whatever. Become your secret holder and then your secret teller. There's a meme that comes across Facebook every now and again, and I had it hanging on my office wall for a long time, and it said, um, "Be careful who you talk to, because today's listening ear is maybe tomorrow's talking mouth." I'm like, I've always loved that. Which my clients always thought was ironic, because our relationship was, hey, come to me and tell me your secrets. I'm bound by law to keep them. Oh, yep, I still got a little bit of a lag, but not too bad. Oh, chicken. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised there hasn't been the knock on the craft room door yet asking what I'm making for dinner. I'm like, I don't know. I'm still full from breakfast. Thanks. But we get the check, and Hubs looks down at it and goes, well, that was an expensive breakfast. And I'm like, sorry, I wanted prime rib. I haven't had a good steak in a long time. I'm like, yeah, that was an expensive breakfast. But needless to say, here it is, 5:15, and I'm still full from breakfast. So I doubt that I will be cooking anything. And if it's left up to him, it'll probably end up being popcorn for dinner. Or he'll get a bowl of cereal. Ooh. I know, sis. Did I send you that chicken recipe that we did with the ground up almonds that cooks in the air fryer and brining? Mm. Yeah, it's the Parmesan crusted chicken. That's true. I started following, and you might want to consider it now that you have the air fryer on your stove too. Um, but she cooks with the foodie. Um, but her YouTube is called the Salted Pepper, and she does it's all air fryer foods, but like baking, doing cakes and all kinds of stuff. But um, it was a really simple, and me, I don't like chicken either. Um, but you mix egg and buttermilk as your wet dip, freshly ground almonds and fresh parmesan with salt and pepper as your dry, and then salt and pepper your chicken. You can dip it in the wet and then into the dry, quote unquote, breading, and then air fry it. Oh my lord, it is so yummy. I don't like chicken, but I made a whole bunch of it and put it in the freezer. I can't wait to have a dang community tab too, because then I can put recipes and stuff on my community tab. Yeah, the really cool thing about the salted pepper girl too is that a lot of times she'll give you um, instructions on how to cook the recipe in other, like how to bake it in your oven or how to cook it on your stove top and stuff like that. So if you don't have an air fryer, you can still make it. But yeah, Stephanie, it is so good. And it's keto friendly, which is even better, for those of us that are not supposed to be eating wheat. Yeah, when I went shopping for all the ingredients, I couldn't get a Wi-Fi connection in the grocery store, nor could I remember how many almonds I needed. So I just like I'm scooping almonds out of the bulk bin. Boom, boom. I got home and it would only needed like a cup and a quarter of almonds or a cup of almonds, and I think I probably have 10 cups of almonds. I'm like, okay, into the freezer you go. But I think just with the one, and I didn't do breasts. I did tenderloins, and just with the initial recipe itself, I was able to bread enough chicken for 5 meals for the 2 of us, and that would be 2 tenderloins each meal. And I think on when she did she breaded either 4 or 6 chicken breasts, I can't remember. I'm waiting. The doggies just got their dinner. Shall we take some bets? So, Stephanie, I saw today that Artisy has they put out some free patterns today. on their website. I was like, oh yeah, like I need more patterns. Oh, yarn vomit. Yuck. Yeah, I got two notifications from them. One was some for members only, and then the next post I got on Facebook was there was two other freebies that were for everybody. One of the members only I might go download because it's a beautiful, like up close headshot of a male lion. Ooh, it's so pretty. If I look at my thread stash, I really need to do some projects that use green. As much as I don't like green, I have a lot of it because of the last big stash that I purchased off a marketplace. Oh, must be dinner time next door too. Even though I'm in my craft room, I can hear my neighbor's cows mooing. Must be dinner time for them too. The US Open, huh? I'm like so behind on all of my TV shows that I normally watch. It's like I spend so much time now in my craft room, um, so that I can cross stitch while I'm watching TV, but I don't have cable in my craft room. So I have to watch YouTube movies, which is what led me down the disaster movie, the stupid, corny, badly acted disaster movie rabbit hole on YouTube. So I ended up watching Lava Lantula 1 and 2. And Octopus 1 and 2, like the size of like what's that creature that they always said would attack and sink ships? Supposedly. But yeah, it's huge octopus that was sinking ships. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is so corny. And then movies like Flood and Apocalypse and Ice Storm and Fire NATO. It's made for some interesting. Yeah, a kraken. That's it. But it was an octopus, the size of the kraken. Well, I do have Disney Plus, and I like Hulu and Tubi. What else is on my TV? See, I don't even know. I'm hardly ever. I usually, YouTube's like the top line. I've got Bravo on there. A couple other channels. But yeah, I usually just turn it on and just go straight to YouTube. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a. I don't know if it's CK. That looks right though. CRAKEN. Don't know. Yeah, I should explore some of those other channels that your dad downloaded onto my Roku for me. Like I said, I usually just come in, hit YouTube, and then park my butt. But I need a new computer chair. This one doesn't have much cushion anymore. So, Stephanie, you said you haven't been online much, but were you in Brooks live last night? Okay. If you haven't watched her live from like an hour and a half ago, you may want to check it out toward the end. There was some information you might be interested in having. I heard her DJ live. Woot woot. I would probably enjoy the DJ lives a little bit more if it was more. I mean, when she does the 80s music, I'm all in for it because that's more my genre. But last night I was like, okay, yeah, this is not my jam. So I bounced. I like that she's not afraid to demonetize herself so she can play music and have some fun. That's pretty cool. I still have to figure all that out because I'd like to be able to, like show movies and stuff like so. Like if we're talking about, if I do a stream on schizophrenia or something to be able to show, um, um, what's that movie? Uh, a Beautiful Mind. Is that what it was called? Am I thinking of the right movie with Russell Crowe? Um, but I know there's lots of copyright issues around that. And I don't know if it's something as simple as not monetizing or I don't know. I got to do some research and figure that out. So yeah, Paulette, same for you. If you haven't watched her stream from just a couple hours ago, go in and watch it. Um, Especially toward like maybe the last half hour. And that's enough about that community. Girl interrupted. And that's so funny because see, right as I say, and that's enough about that community. That's one of the movies that was on a poll list to watch and discuss. And I'm like, I don't want to watch that movie again. I'm like, oh. And then like 2 days later, it popped up on my YouTube free movie list, and I'm like, really, really, YouTube? Stop listening to me, Google. Mind your own business. It is a good movie, though. You know, it's just it's a hard movie to watch. What did you think of it? See, Google is listening. They're being super spies again. So yeah, what did you think about it? Up and down. Yeah. I mean it's mental health in a nutshell. Mixed in with some cruelty and some bullying and some harassment and troubled teen behavior and a little bit of LGBT stuff. I mean, yeah, it's just kind of a mix of everything. But dang, Angelina Jolie. Yeah. I don't know that anybody could play a crazy person better than Angelina Jolie. And it's like, oh wait, if you ask Hollywood, that's her true personality, but I don't necessarily believe that. But I think Girl Interrupted really kind of was at least from my perspective, was a good picture as to the caliber of her acting abilities. Oh, the chicken under the bed. Yeah. Yeah, the movie that ended up being picked for the review is Mommy Dearest, and I haven't watched that since probably before AJ was born. So I'm gonna have to watch that again if I'm gonna have anything to say. I'm like, ugh. The only thing I know about that movie is no more wire hangers. But anyway, well, it's been a little over an hour. Um, I need to get up and stretch my legs and stuff. So, yes, reach out and punch her. Yeah, yeah, I agree. But yeah, I need to get up and stretch my legs and stuff. So, I'm going to go ahead and end for tonight. Well, for today. I won't do another live tonight, but I'll do some more stitching a little later. Again, like on that time lapse. Um, but yeah, stay where you feel safe, stay where you feel comfortable, and if you go somewhere that makes you not feel good, you can always exit out. So, um, I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything tomorrow. I haven't figured that out yet. Depends on if I sleep tonight or not. And then how early I wake up. It would have to be something that I'm not really prepared for, something just kind of off the cuff since I haven't really planned anything. But alrighty, guys. So you guys have a good day. Enjoy your dinners or whatever you got left for the evening and the rest of the weekend. Ta ta for now.